Check. 1 2 1 2 1 2. Video games in the building. What it do? Make sure my levels are right. My lighting looks clean. Background looks right. What it is? Another episode. You're here. Video Games TV. You're here. Video Games TV, and this is another episode of CIA Intelligent Agendas. And you know what we got this week? Let me bring my man. Clinical from backstage. What it do, Clinical in the building? How you doing, man?
Big up. I'm doing good.
Yo, large up, Clinical in the building. So it's another week. I got to do this proper. First things first, my peeps come first. My peeps, you guys in the comments, thank you so much. You guys that have added to the channel with subs, added to the channel with views, added to the channel with comments. Much appreciated. We got another episode this week. And what we do every week on Sunday, 9 p.m. UK time. This case, it's actually 4 p.m. Toronto time because time change. But we got another episode 5. Believe it or not, episode 5. We've been doing this for 5 weekends now. I got Clinical in the building. Here at CIA, we don't do lazy. We don't do dumb. We don't do unintelligent. We don't do simple, stale, dated, regurgitated reruns with regards to agendas. No, we don't do that. No, it's fresh. It's fresh over here. Things that you're going to take. Things that you're going to take. City fans are going to take. Rival fans are going to take because they're going to know we can't come with this weak-ish anymore. You're going to understand that. But here at CIA, we're going to have the proper agendas. We deal with threats, targets, and we're on a mission. We're on a mission to protect our club. Now, let me go to the comments real quick to see who was in the building first. Let me see who was in the building first. And we got FIFA holding it down every time. He goes Palmer time. He might be suggesting Palmer time because of the news that we've heard recently with regards to Phil Foden. You know, speedy recovery for Phil, but Foden, opportunity, right? When opportunity knocks, do you respond? FIFA always classic. Start Carson. We'll see. He will play a part later this season. Dr. Footy in the building. Sit. Dr. Footy also goes Vader in the house. Foden out. Grealish, time to shine. Hey, Grealish on that left. Still got Mahrez. To what FIFA mentioned, we still got Palmer. A lot to discuss. But if you saw from the thumbnail, and shout out to everyone, let me make sure the group chat's clean, because sometimes when I send out the link, I've been told that sometimes it doesn't go through, sometimes it's not clickable, or it's not a hyperlink, but hopefully everything's cool. I think I got the lightings right. I left the text with regards to the thumbnail on the screen. Hopefully my levels are good. Please let me know. You know what? Actually, I meant to do this. Give me 1 second, because I wanted to simultaneously do this on Twitch, which I've gotten out of the habit of doing. I was doing that on the regular, and then peeps hit me up and be like, yo, Vader, you're not putting your content on Twitch, man. Like, what happened? So I'm gonna do that real quick. Bear with me while I do a little bit of copy and pasting. But Clinical, how was your week, man? Talk to me.
It's been good, and I'm actually been following up on the international games that have been going on. Actually, Jamaica has a game later today against Mexico because we're in our Nations League setup at the moment.
That's a tough game.
Oh yeah, and it's at the Azteca, and it's a must-win game if we want to continue to go through. So, hey, wish us luck.
Whew. Did you any hints on what are you happy with what might be the starting 11? Like the available players you got?
Well, there are a couple of big name marks that are going to be missing the game for one reason or another. So it's more.
You're chopping in and out.
More of an uphill battle than it usually would be. Gotta keep my fingers crossed and hopefully we can pull something off. Might be a Azteca before, so.
No, that's wicked. That's wicked. My guy over at MaxIt. I don't know if he's in the chat yet. Maybe he might be later, but he's got a fantastic channel. And you know what? I should talk to him, because I might look to put his details with regards to his channel in the mix. Maybe even if I just put that on screen or it's available. But he does he does excellent content with regards to Manchester City, and he also covers the Jamaican national team like in depth. Like in
Yeah,
depth, he knows.
JD. I actually am very familiar with him. He's
Oh,
a really
okay,
good
okay,
man. He really is detailed, like you said, and he covers mostly all the Caribbean, not even just Jamaica. So it's very good
okay.
content for anyone that's interested in that.
Yeah, he's got an excellent channel, so I'll make sure to shout him out. I see you guys in the comments, and I appreciate it. Let me also put my guy, Dr. Footy, also goes, please talk about this biased, the Times article about City and by the United fans, shameless. You know what? There's so much biased coverage, not only in print, but we see what's happening over whether it's YouTube, even with how some of these posts are happening on IG and on Twitter. Some of the accounts with regards to the league or the publications, their slant is so one-sided, and we got to see clear it. Got to see right through it. Big Morgan in the building. Hello, Vader. I'm sure you're also saying what up to Clinical in the building as well. I gotta work out on how I can actually put the names below us, but that's something within the settings I gotta clean up. But I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say this real quick. If you didn't see this, okay. If you're not following me on Twitter, shame on you, but it's all good. At least you're here. You're here on the channel. Now, I said this on Twitter, and let me not misquote my own self, right? But I had to point out that rivals have hated on us, right? Rivals have hated on City from time. Talked about winning the lottery, getting oil money. We quote unquote no history, quote unquote weren't relevant until the money came in, right? They can have all of that. They can have all of that. They can choose to do that. But rivals, if you're using that argument, you got to apply it to yourself. You got to look in the mirror and apply it to yourself and understand, did your history only start when you won trophies? Did your history only start when you started winning in the Premier League? Did your history only start when what? Right? So I love how sheltered, right? In terms of us having knowledge of self, right? I love how our fans know what our history is so we don't get triggered by what the rivals are doing. And part of it, with regards to my channel, the main Way, Pitch Points, True City Fan, you know, a large part of what we do, and I'm not even mentioning all of them, but there's other City content out there. When we make it a point to be like, yo, done the noise, don't listen to that, remain secure. That's what it's all about. That's what it's all about. Don't get with all these narratives because they're hypocrites at the end of the day. Every one of these rivals are hypocrites at the end of the day. And I said it in the tweet, rival fans hated on City just to secretly, just to like in whisper, just to like in closed doors, just to talk amongst themselves and say that they want to be like City. They're absolute hypocrites. They talked about how terrible, how trash, how ridiculous this oil money was, and if not for the oil money, we would be nothing. They said all of this. They wanted to talk about sports washing and how it was bad. It was so one-sided with regards to how you're going to have the state-owned or state-funded club. How are you going to allow them to use your club to then whitewash, sports wash, whatever, however you want to describe it, with regards to what it means, like what it actually means when it comes to the purity of the sport or what sport's all about. How they choose to become supporters of any club, and I'm not placing any type of judgment. How they choose to be supportive of any club, it's on them. We don't have to do this forced narrative. Oh, long time fans, right? Been fans from the beginning of time. That sometimes that's not the case. Clearly, that's not the case. It can't be the case amongst every owner of a club. But one thing is, you discover a club, you become tied to a club, you then learn to love the club. Even with regards to members of a particular owner, maybe it's just the one owner that has the affinity, has the love for said club, and then through time, others gain it. these rival fans and them trying to force these narratives, them being hypocrites with what they've said about City over the years, only to turn, and you know this actually should not be a Citizens Neighborhood Watch rant right now, which I feel that I'm doing, because Citizens Neighborhood Watch is really clearly just watching the neighbors, which are Manchester United. So let me fall back a little bit. But the rival fans and their hypocrite takes, let's call it out for what it is. All right, let's call it out for what it is. And I want you guys in the chat right now, and I've asked this before. Hit me up, whether it's in the DMs, in the comments right now, maybe post show, in the comments when the show's over. Hit me with some of the most ridiculous or some of the heavy-handed, overly biased agendas that come across your way. Because that will also allow, you know what, this week we're gonna dead this agenda, right? We're gonna dead the agenda about Holland making us worse of a club. We're gonna dead the agenda about Ederson not being good for Manchester City, and because of him, we don't hit the heights. We can tackle all of those agendas one by one. We can tackle the agendas with regards to Ake, them trying to claim that Ake is not the best left back in the league this season. We can dissect, break down to the very last compound some of these agendas. Let me get back to these comments, and I appreciate you guys going through them, or dropping them, I should say. City Blue Peter goes, City fans have never been entitled. That's the difference between us and the top five. 100%. They actually try to belittle us. They actually try to claim that because of our mentality, not to go crazy, not to want to riot, not to like cry foul or come across spoiled, like we need to be winning everything in sight. They actually want to talk about us having that type of perspective, that type of balance, as being small club mentality. Us not going crazy for a season that doesn't result in league or Champions League should demand us rioting and going nuts, demanding players either getting sacked or being moved on, managers being sacked. That's the craziness that they expect us to go to. And I stress this, and I know you've heard this from other panel members on this show or others, right? On this channel, I should say, and other shows. We don't want to be like them. I know it sounds contradictive, like we don't want to be. It's not about not wanting to be successful. Let me correct this. We obviously want to be successful. We want to see our team compete every single time. That's deep rooted. What we want to see as City fans, and what we've been saying even before this consistent winning, was we want to see our club compete. And again, we've all come across some City fans in particular that have they have the main road ties. They have those ties, and they talk about they wanted the club to compete, and more so compete consistently, because obviously there was the influx. Obviously we've had our moments of success, but that's what they've wanted. And at the same time, if it's remaining humble, if it's keeping a good perspective, if it's not flying off the rails, it's not become so arrogant that if you have a season where you do compete and you fall short, that you should be demanding for players or managers' heads. That's the thing that rivals don't understand. And I'm gonna pose the question after I get through these comments, and hopefully they don't send me off. But I'm gonna make sure I go through these. Dr. Footy goes, they slander what they can't have. 100%. They slander what they can't have, and then they slander, or they no longer. No, sorry. They slander what they can't have, but then there's when they've now received it to not even recognize what they were doing before. Nuts. Emmanuel in the building goes, hello, citizens. Emmanuel, my guy, what a do. Blue Heart, good evening, everyone. 100%. Good to see you, Blue Heart. All your points are proven, Bader. And in how Newcastle attitudes have changed. Now they have owners with wealth. Oh my gosh. Okay. So one of the content creators, Newcastle fan, I'm sure we're all aware of him. This man had the biggest mouth, had the biggest attitude, had the biggest condemnation, had the biggest words to say: disgrace, not honorable, bad for football, bad for England, all kinds of all kinds of nonsense, right? And years and years and years. This is why I love these platforms, right? Whether it's Twitter, whether it's YouTube. This is why I love one thing in particular with regards to content creators, all right, or those in my case, those that kind of journal their thoughts. Because this is essentially what I do. I have a chance, and I'm privileged to sit down in front of a screen talking to you guys. I got Clinical here with me, and we're able to basically have a journal with regards to our thoughts on football. You know, week after week. What is this, week 28 with regards to the Premier League, and we're able to kind of like share our ideas and thoughts. But this is what I love about these content creators, and I get it. Some are actors. Okay, let's be clear. Some are actors, and you may want to accuse me of that because I'm not on here with my government name. I'm not doing that. All right, and I do that for many reasons. But at the same time, I'm not an actor. There's no, oh, let me put on a persona. If you come across me on the street, you call me by Vader, I'm still acting the same. There's no acting here, right? There's no playing a role. But we know that's different for others. And again, for those content creators that are playing a role, that are acting, that are one person on camera, they're going to have all those sensational takes. They're going to have all of those extremes point of view. But if you were to size them up, meet them up and talk to them, they'd be completely on a different rail. If you're able to figure that out, calm. Sometimes you're not able to. And for that, if you're called a hypocrite, you got to take it. You got to accept it. And again, some of them are acting. They're okay with taking this, being a hypocrite. They're okay with playing this role because what do they care? They get the clicks. But there's some big accounts that are huge hypocrites and had the most to say about City. And now when things have either happened to their club or suggested or in the works to happen to their club, they're now silent. They're now overlooking it. They now see things differently. Come on now. Come on. Emmanuel in the building goes, that Mark Goldbridge guy is so obsessed with City. You know what's funny? We're the smallest, biggest club. We are the smallest, biggest club out there because we're not relevant. We don't matter. We don't have big club mentality, but we get talked about every time. And that's why I no longer get triggered. And I hope none of you in the chat get triggered either.
You
Clinical.
can also say we're the biggest small club.
I just said we're the biggest small club.
We're the smallest big club, but we're also the biggest small club. Trust me.
I like that. See, you can flip it either way. And you know that's a fact when you have TalkSport, you have that account like Mark Goldbridge and what he has, and we're always on their lips. We're always on their lips. Now, if they say one thing this week, and then when they revert and talk to their club and they have something different to say, same situation, you know what they are. You know what they are. They're that H word right there. They're hypocrites. They're hypocrites. City Blue, Peter goes, talking truth, fella. Thank you so much. Again, I had to get this off my chest, man. I have to get it off my chest. Because if you let it just stay, it can drive you kind of crazy. It can drive you crazy. I hate to say his name, but I gotta show him honors. Trebel Father's in the building. Let me add him to the mix. Good to have you on the show today.
Sorry, I was in another show. You overran. I wasn't actually planning on going in it, but they asked me in halfway through. Hey, so my apologies.
No need to do that, man. No need to do that. Thanks for being on the show just now. I was just talking about rival fans and how they've been hypocrites and how they've said one thing not so long ago, and now when things are kind of being steered towards their club to be very similar to what City's either received or City's been doing and they're about to do, they have other things to say. And I also pointed out, I get it. Some are actors on these platforms. So let's kind of recognize that. Some are really just acting. They want the clicks. They want the interactions. They want to trigger you with anger. They want to get that type of reaction out of you so you respond and leave a comment. And sometimes they could care less about what you have to say. They throw that out there just because they want the reaction, not that they actually care what you have to say or that it's going to change their mind. So let's all be careful as City fans with regards to that. City Blue Peter goes, followed City since 81. Last 15 years have been gravy. City have given me the most complete and complex football journey I could ever have wished for. Man, that hats off to you. That is actually amazing, because when you actually think about it, these wanted to throw out glory hunter terms, right? Have we, in their eyes, become a big club yet? We're supposed to have the big ears. We're supposed to have the Champions League if we are to be a big club. I'm also hearing we need to have a certain number of league titles, certain number of trophies. If all that is to be true, and we haven't hit those landmarks, we haven't hit those targets, right? Those milestones. How could any City fan be a glory hunter? Because they haven't hit it yet.
But who made up these targets?
Hey.
Because honestly, these targets have only come in the last 15 years.
Speak on it.
You look at United before '99. Now I understand they won a Champions League before that, or when it was actually the European Cup, when it was actually credible and actually meant you were the best. But I didn't hear anyone saying United were a small club before '99.
Ooh, that's a very excellent point.
I don't hear anyone saying Arsenal are a small club. I didn't hear anyone saying Chelsea were a small club before they won their 2 Champions Leagues.
Mm-hmm.
How long did Barcelona go before winning a Champions League?
And that's just it. How are you using some of these narratives? How are you using some of these agendas that can't be consistent?
It's the history thing. Mm-hmm. People don't realize. It's like there's 3 arguments. One is football began in 1992 when the Premier League got going. Mm-hmm. One is that history is like myself and you and other City fans of history. Every club has history. They just have different levels of history. We're over nearly 140 years old. We've got no history, Exactly. But it's an argument you'll never win. How many spaces and debates have we been in when we say, well, we City won an FA, we're the first Manchester club to win an FA Cup. We were the first team to win it before Arsenal were even invented. Oh, we're not going back that far. Well, how far back do you want to go? This is what you got to realize.
And Martin,
just say you don't like us. It's a very simple rhetoric. Say you don't like us. Just be honest with it.
And here's the thing that it makes me laugh. Honestly, when I'm in those spaces and I happen to be speaker, I make sure I put myself on mute when I hear that point that you just made. When I hear some of these rivals say, we're not going back that far. Wait. We're talking about history. And you're saying that you don't want to even go that far with regards to history, then what are we talking about? You know what I mean?
What is Arsenal's biggest achievement? What do they crow about the most?
Honestly, the one that they crow about the most is the Invincibles.
When was that?
2004?
So 20 years ago. Are we allowed to go back 20 years? And by the way, when you actually unpick that Invincible season, look how many games they drew. But you're not allowed to say stuff like that. Was it an achievement? Yes. Mm-hmm. Did they get a gold trophy at the end? They got a little one. Props to you. You got it out of a Kinder Bueno egg. Congratulations. You put it together yourself.
Martin's fired it up. Yeah.
But I'm sorry. Don't come in here and discredit Francis Lee, Billy Meredith, Sir Matt Busby. But by the way, Sir Matt Busby was long at Manchester City before he even went into Manchester United. Mm-hmm. United wouldn't even be a thing without Manchester City. Why do we call them rags? Because we gave them shirts to play in. We gave them a ground to play at.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Save it. No, but I want you to hold on to that because there's so many. And again, even last week, guys and girls in the chat, if you missed last week's show, okay? If you missed last week's show, and I know it's a long one, whether you're doing some food prep, whether you're eating dessert, working out, Play it, just listen to it. There's not much imagery that really requires you to watch the screen, but play it. I happened to have to step away because, again, it was Sunday, but the show and was flowing so well. The conversation was amazing. I didn't want to end the show, but I had Martin, I had Gunnelorian, I had Alan, Patrick. I think Clinical was in that. I could be wrong, but it was such a great conversation with all of them last week that if you missed it, please go check that out. But I want to continue on with this point. The history with regards to City, and I love what City does with regards to their Twitter account. With their Twitter account, they often do on this day, right? And again, on this day on Twitter, a lot of it has to do with imagery. So I get it that they don't go as far back as they could. And maybe there might be a rights thing too, which prevents them from doing it. But to Martin's point, there is tremendous history before the Premier League with regards to Manchester City and many other clubs. So when they say, oh, we're not going back that far, that just proves we got the history. Let me go to these comments. The Mad Hatter goes, my attitude towards rival fans who talk hypocritical trash. He goes, F them. Hey, I hear that exactly. Don't give them the time. I sometimes enjoy to engage in terms of, let me throw out these points and see how they react, because your reaction then confirms on where I categorize you. Okay, you're talking nonsense. You're an idiot. It's not going to be an intellectual conversation. It's more just agenda, and you're not taking any facts. But I often kind of throw back the point to see what they have to say. Matt Hatter also goes, I also heard bad news about Foden out 2 to 6 weeks, acute appendicitis. That is correct. I don't know if it's for that length of time, but he's definitely out with regards to the surgery required for it. And we'll see.
Looks like he's going to be out the Bayern games as well.
Out the Bayern games. Okay. It's he's such a talent. So it is a hit. It's unfortunate that we don't have him available. Pep and the team's definitely going to have to rely on others to step in for him. Glad that he's had to deal with it. And from what I hear, everything's successful and it's going to be a good recovery.
This is where Alvarez steps up.
Alvarez, Mahrez.
Ramadan Mahrez time.
It's going to be huge.
You've got to step up. It's step up time.
100%. FIFA goes Palmer and Gomez to shine on the wing. I see. I mean, the Gomez is a left back, so I'm not too sure where you kind of see that. But Palmer, I don't know about Palmer either at this time of the year, but we'll see. And FIFA, this is what we're gonna have to do one show. I think one show might have to be in the comments. Maybe I can give everyone some time or pre-plan the 11 that you guys would love to see. Say that again.
Do an EDS show.
EDS show would be nice. But I think from what I see with FIFA wants certain players on this current 11 in the mix, and I'm curious how you would set them up. But that's another show for another time. Matt Hatter goes, I hope so, with regards to Grealish and his speedy recovery. Michael, the same as me, City Blue Peter 1981 for me. Oh, okay, 1981 for you as well. Paul Power will always be one of my favorite players, and his great free kick against Ipswich, that was sick. Has Manchester City posted that on Twitter? I don't think they posted that.
They don't go. They've only on this day thing is only really the early 2000s onwards. They don't really go that far back.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. They could easily do that though. Michael goes, 2004 was the last time Arsenal won the league. That's facts.
I can tell you why they only go back a certain stage is because it's when City TV came into existence.
Oh, that's
City, because obviously the BBC and everything used to have all the rights over the footage. And then when City got City TV, their own in-house thing in the early 2000s, that's when things changed and they could get the rights then to show stuff.
Okay. Oh, I just realized I didn't do this. Hopefully.
Because they don't actually own their own rights before a certain stage, believe it or not.
No, I can understand that. Can I get a check 1-2 from you guys real quick? Can I hear you guys say check 1, 2?
3, 4.
Okay, hold on. I gotta do a.
Can you hear us?
I hear you, but I need to get the sound to apply over on Twitch. So let me do this.
Oh, we on Twitch as well.
Yeah, I'm trying to. Okay, let me get a check 1, 2. Damn it!
Check 1, 2.
All right, I'll make that work some other time. Now, and let me go to these comments. Boom, boom. Aha. Yeah. Okay, that should be okay. Now, Blue Heart also goes. The oldest club in the world is Sheffield FC, born in 1857, now in the Northern Premier League Division 1 South. Oh, okay, now in the Northern Premier League Division 1 South. That's history regardless of trophies and league position. You're absolutely right. And this is what I stress all the time. History can't just be when you won a trophy or when you won the most modernized version of that trophy. That can't be history. History is when you've won levels of competition that consisted of either being the best in England or being the best in Europe, whichever time it was. That speaks to the history at that time. It also drives me crazy with regards to, even if we want to look at Olympic distances, right? Whether they recorded things as yards before meters, or you want to look at competitions that have maybe only included a certain group and then it's expanded, right? Come on now, it's about at that present time what the competition consisted of and whether you were able to say that you were best at that time. Like let's relax here. FIFA, Palmer ×2 incoming. You really want Palmer bad. Emmanuel goes, Alvarez must step up. Okay. I see that you guys are kind of on a vibe with regards to this in the comments real quick. Foden, appendicitis, poor timing. Glad that it's recognized. Glad that he's gotten the surgery and that he can recover. Fantastic. If we really think about it, and I know we can obviously all agree that we know or we think Palmer's not ready for it yet, and I agree. But Grealish, Mahrez, Alvarez, and we know that Pep can get a duty, he can get a shift out of Silva if needed on that wing as well. We've got the players for it. So we've got the players for it. It's no panic settings just yet. Mr. Roll Up 10 goes, Alvarez is the only player that can give us at least some of what we get from Foden. For the directness, I agree with you. For the directness of what Foden does, I agree with you. I still need to see more from like Alvarez's poise and touch in terms of like passes coming into him. I want to see a little more from him. Not saying that he's not capable, but I want to see a little more.
Be careful, mate. They'll come after you.
Nah. It's calm. It's Sunday vibes. Blue Heart goes, we could try Carlson outfield. Hey, Pep might put him false 9. Don't joke too much, Blue Heart. Don't do that. Don't do that.
Are you not playing fantasy league here?
I don't know what they've been drinking today. There's something in the air.
We're about to hit the most important part, and we're throwing Carlson, Palmer in. They'll be throwing Borges in next.
Yep, right. Let's bring up the EDS boys and let's get it going.
And Ederson will be on the penalties.
Say who's on penalties?
Ederson will be on the penalties. Don't forget.
Hey, other than KDB, does anyone kick the ball better than Ederson? Just throwing it out there. Michael goes, I got my first book on Manchester City history in 1984 by Andrew Ward and Pat Hatt. When other fans don't know about their history, new Arsenal fans don't know about the double in 1970-71. Our history in the 70s is amazing. And
first football team to win a European trophy and domestic trophy in the same year. Boom. First big club to win an FA Cup. First club to get 1 million people out on a parade.
You know what else I want to say, and I got to give credit to Martin, because again, maybe I'm wrong. Correct me, Martin. But in the past, Martin would hear a lot of the nonsense and just kind of like just listen. But what I've been noticing more recently, if the time permits, like it obviously depends on the timing, but when I see some of the nonsense being said and I see Martin with the speaker logo below him, I'm like, yeah, I'm not going anywhere. I just want to hear him drop a couple facts, put people in their place, and then carry on with the day. It's amazing stuff in the Twitter Spaces.
It's like, sorry, I know you want to do the comment. Yeah, it's like this. What was talked about earlier. Manchester City was everyone's second team in the 90s, and I mean, and when I'm not kidding you, everybody's second team. We were told, oh, if my team don't win, I'll look out for City's results. You've got the most loyal fan base we've ever seen. Never seen a fan base like yours. We used to get called a cult. That's how bad we were. Like I said, only football team to get relegated and expand their stadium.
But that's the absolute part of the history that is the phenomenal part. Like when you're supporting, and again, with this whole glory hunter nonsense that we kind of talked about earlier, when you're supporting the club, and I'm not going to say it in the mud, but when you're supporting the club when it hasn't been consistent winning, that's the amazing history. That's the part that gets passed down amongst like father, mother to son and daughter, right? Like it's those type of vibes. And even when you're cheering on, and this is why I was stressing the part where we just wanted the team to compete. When you see the team compete, you get so much joy out of that, because then you're like, okay, they can crack on with a little more experience, or maybe another acquisition of talent. You're not taking any of that away from me. It
opens up a debate, though.
Go
Because
ahead.
if you don't quite make it, you go, right, where do we need to improve next year?
Right.
You can talk about where you went wrong this year.
Exactly.
We all know where the upturn came from. It gives us any City fan who thinks they're entitled enough to waltz into a league, and this is why we say it doesn't matter who we're playing, you give them the respect. Because it doesn't. Every team reacts differently when we turn into town.
Yeah.
When we turn up, teams react differently, and they give us a game. And this is what we're just built differently, and people need to realise that. And do you know what I love at the minute? We're being attacked all the time. I don't want to go into too much, because I'm going to talk about it more tomorrow night.
Right.
But seriously, we're at a point where we're not going to shut up anymore. The fans, the club, the management, the owners, we're not being quiet anymore. We have played the nice guys for 15 years. We're not being nice anymore. We're going to fight fire with fire back to you now.
Yeah, and even with that being said, I still see it being like protecting our name. Like the quietness used to be like, you wouldn't go and debate, you wouldn't go and challenge every comment against us. But to your point, when you say we're not being quiet anymore, that's where I think we're just going to be like, no, enough is enough. Stop. We're not letting this slide anymore.
Yeah.
We're not letting you get away with those type of
topics. Gone too far.
Yeah. City Blue Peter he says, what a player Paul Power was. Like a good few back.
What a mustache.
Win titles elsewhere. Yeah. What a mustache. Standing on the Kai Pax, watching him is an abiding memory for him. So this is let me say this, because this is I did a show early on when I was just getting into the mix with regards, how am I going to really journalize this, or diary this, I should say. And I have a show, I haven't added to it recently, but it was home and away. And the whole concept was, I'm the away fan. I'm not on the grounds. I'm not even anywhere close, whether it's at the Etihad or Manchester City playing away. I'm not there, obviously. I'm watching the games. Similar, much like myself and Clinical. But there are fans, and the beauty about social media, right? The beauty about some that do put themselves out there and make themselves available is that you're able to have the convo. I was able to have the conversation with Martin and be like, you know what, you're the home fan. Can we talk? And I kind of did a little back and forth. Here's how his day started. You know, whether he went out for breakfast or went out to meet up before going to the game, and myself, time zone difference. You know, me waking up, doing brunch with the family before setting things up to watch the game. Like I just did a little bit of comparison. I did that a few times. I did that with Martin. I did that with Rob. I did that with Daps. You know, I did that with a few, and it was a pleasure of mine because I was able to kind of get their point of view, their authentic way to doing it. But a long time for me, and this is going back before, so before Manchester City and the popularity and the TV coverage, because watching the games wasn't as accessible as it is now. I kid you not. My best friend, my best man, he was a Manchester United fan. He loved them to death. He was into football before I was, to tell you the truth. He would wake up mad early in the morning and he would listen to the games on the radio. That's how he got access. And it wasn't until like he could hear the games live real time on the radio. And you know, a few times where we'd be hanging out. That's how I got introduced in terms of hearing all about the Premier League. And my rivalry with him, like us being boys and just like going back and forth, my uncle had me, and he was I don't know why. Well, I do know why, because of his stint over in England. He actually became a City fan, but coming back over here, he was like, hey, listen to this, watch this, or he bring me back some clippings. And that's kind of like how it tied. But when it really like sunk in, when I was like, you know what, I'm about it, was because of my boy being a United fan and me being on the opposite end. So the opposite end kind of just happened naturally because of my competitiveness with him, not necessarily hating United like that. The hatred for United grew afterwards, but that's kind of like how it just tied off. And again, my uncle's influence on me is why it kind of gravitated, because you need someone that's going to educate you. You need someone that's going to like bring you along. So that was like my stint to it. And then obviously over time, when internet and everything just got a lot cleaner and more accessible, and I'm able to actually watch the games. And there was a point where I could listen to the games. I know I'm going on for a long time, apologies, but I could listen to the games in real time, radio. And for those of you young, yeah, radio is like a device that allows you to hear things. There's no image, it's just pure sound. There's AM and FM, but I was able to listen to games in real time, and then I could watch the game time delayed later in the day. It was a whole hoopla, but that's kind of like how it tied off. And now things are mint. My kids can watch any game that they want, the way the internet is now, the way the providers are now, and they could watch it whether it's on a phone, on a tablet, on a computer screen, or on TV. It's such a different world with regards to the sport, and it'll lead me to another conversation down the road when we talk about, when rivals want to talk about like where are these fans coming from. You know, why would you think City fan base is growing? A large part of it is because of the accessibility. Sorry, Clinical, go ahead.
You know what's funny about that? And I actually would love to hear Martin's story of how he became a City fan, because I just love hearing the different perspectives on how we all came to this one conclusion. But my story is actually very similar to yours, except it was my older brother who's a Man United fan. And he's the one who really introduced me into football, having me watch them play. And I basically see how interested he was, and that piqued my interest as well. But where it's slightly different for me is there were players that I would see and I would like, wow, these guys are actually outstanding. But the one that stood out for me personally was Carlos Tevez. It's like, this guy is insanely good. I can't believe it. So when he went to Man City, in which I'm a kid, I'm 9 years old at this point. I'm just like fascinated by what I'm seeing on the screen. There wasn't really much aside from that for me. So when I saw him go to City, and my brother was like, okay, I don't want you to to pick my team because I'm your older brother and you're gonna look up to me.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, I never want to pick the same team as you do. I was never planning to support United just by the simple fact that you do. I want
Yeah.
my team, my favorite team that I can support while
Yeah.
you have yours.
Yeah.
And the fact that Tevez, which was my favorite player at the time, went to City, that's why I decided, you know what, this is the team I'm gonna watch. And I think that summer, like shortly after we played them,
Yeah.
we lost 4-3, and he scored 2 goals in that game, and that's what really solidified it for me. Like, yeah, I'm never going back, and it just basically sucked me into this football world, and I just can't get enough since.
Okay.
Sorry if going on a
Yeah.
little bit there.
No. That's great. I think one thing too that's kind of funny is, and I just going back, and I'll get to the comments. Apologies, but it's the accessibility of the game right now, and that I really I think for those of you across the pond, it might be missed, but I don't know how, because you guys, time zone difference too. I'm sure you see promotions for American football or NBA, right, or MLB. So you know that it's there. It may not be of interest, but it's available out there, and it's the same thing here. Whereas, I mean, full disclosure, I've got a Caribbean background. Both my parents came from the Caribbean. I'm first generation Canadian, so I was born here. So from a sport, my dad loved football, right? Loved it. And when my very first sport was football, soccer out here, but it was soccer and baseball. So, I think it was at age 4 or 5, you did soccer one week, football one week, and you did baseball the next week. And you're just introduced to the sport. And I did football all the way from that age. I did football all the way till the 9th grade. And the reason why I stopped in the 9th grade was because I was also doing very well at track athletics. I know this is getting long-winded, but this is the international break, so this is what we're going to do. And shout out to Clinical, because Clinical is very athletic too. And when we talk about ties with regards to Martin, and I'll let Martin say it at his time or maybe on his show, but he's got like blood ties with regards to Manchester City. But so I did football until the 9th grade, and I'm pacey. And when I first started playing, I started as a striker, and then my father coached for 2 years. And when you're a coach for 2 years, you get to draw your players. And because my father was the newest coach within the league, he got all the scraps. He got all the scrap players, but he was able to get me as a player. All right. So we kind of had all the scraps. We weren't the best team at all. He moved me, I kid you not, he moved me from striker to keeper. And he moved me from striker to keeper because it allowed us to not concede many goals. But I know I'm going off on a really long story. Bear with me. But from being a striker to being a keeper, I knew what the keeper wanted to go to. Like I knew I could read when the keeper was ready to shoot, or I could read when we were being exposed, whatever. So I was very vocal. And then as I got older, after that kind of like Pee-wee or house league, whatever you guys may call it, but I moved from there to what ended up being like club or league, kind of like our age league football. And then we had what's called select. So select would take key players from certain teams, and then you would be on a select team. And so it's kind of like the best from different teams. And on the select team, I played defense, and I could play central, or because I was very pacey, I could play central or on the wing, and I actually played on the left. But I went from doing that, and then when we moved, because that was a long story. Then where we moved, I then moved out here in Ontario. And in Ontario, since moving, I went back to striker. So because there's quality all over the pitch, and I was able to play striker. Now, I played striker until the 9th grade, and the reason why I stopped playing striker on the 9th grade is because that's when players are a lot more mature. Players are a lot more dirty. Players, whether it's been coached in them, whether they're just familiar, they were always going for my ankles. And I was I had my opportunity in athletics. I had my opportunity in football, but really scholarship wise, I earned myself an athletic scholarship. So at 9th grade, my dad said, "No, you're done. You're not getting these tackles from behind or side tackles. No one's trying to take out your ankles or knees. You're done." So I stopped playing, but it was always a love of mine, right? And just going back to the love of football and following it is also how it kind of tied to Manchester City and the love of this game, quote unquote, this European game that we on the North America side love. But again, it makes a lot of sense on why we love it, because when you have Caribbean ties, when you also have the sport, whether it's called something different out here, you still know where the best football is played. So when you know where the best football is played, you're still going to be connected to the sport. And in this present day, when you have clubs like Manchester City that are doing so well, they're being talked about. You have big accounts that are talking about how they hate City or because we're still in the news. Everyone, their ears perk up. Who's this City? Why does everyone hate City? What So then they come and they connect to it, and then winners have a huge, strong gravitational pull. It's no different than anything else. The reason why I find it hypocritical and why the thumbnail kind of had rival fans or hypocrites is because these same United fans that often want to claim glory hunters, or you just joined City when the winning was happening. When did you join United? Dead me with this talk about the reasons why you came to United. And maybe not you in particular, you United fan, but a large portion of your fan base, you guys were winning. And the gravitational pull that I talked about is no different than what you had during your time, and your time lasted a very long time. I get it. But that's how your fan base came into it. The same thing's happening to this day. Look at what's happening with regards to City, and you can see why fans are being pulled into it. This is going to lead me to a future show, where we're going to dead this myth, we're going to dead this lazy agenda about how is it possible that City have these sponsorship deals valued at the value that they have. We're going to dead that agenda. We're going to dead it quick. The reason why you have so many sponsors that want to come in, the reason why you have those valued at the level that they're at, and you want to question, you want to wonder, why does it rival a United or a Real Madrid with regards to value, is because of the eyeballs. It has nothing to do with history of winning. It has nothing to do with they've been an established club for so much time. When you have so many eyeballs that are tuning in, that are interacting with your club, sponsors love that. Sponsors pay for it. Sponsors want to be tied to it. So that's another thing that's going to be addressed on future shows, because CIA, we deal with intelligent agendas, and trying to dismiss or dumb down why the sponsorship values are at the heights that they are for City, we're going to properly deal with. I see my man Gundalorian in the building, bringing him from backstage. How you doing, Gundo? Sorry, I just went on a really long rant, and I'm
no, sorry. I just joined. I was busy with some stuff I had to take care of. But yeah.
Okay. No, good to have you on the show this week, and I'm kind of behind on the comments real quick, so I'm gonna get to that. FIFA goes, I wish I was born in the 70s, but I was born in 2005. I wish I could have gone to Main Road. I can't lie. Hey, FIFA, that's the funny thing, man. Just hold out. A time machine's gonna be built soon. Don't worry. Time machines are going to be built soon. I don't know if Elon Musk is on it, or if it's going to be someone, maybe there's some brilliant, child out of the African continent that's building it out of scraps or whatever. But a time machine will be built, trust me, and we'll be able to have all those experiences. Sorry for the noise that's happening in the background. Kids are loud. Big Morgan goes, Vader, why do you support City? Oh, very long story. I touched on it a little bit, Big Morgan, but on another show. Michael Feeney goes, you can get the Paul Power goal against Ipswich Town in semifinal on YouTube, and his goal against Everton in the 6th round of the cup on YouTube. Okay, fair enough. It wasn't so much not being able to see it. Sorry, my point, Mike, and I definitely will. It's also interesting on how Manchester City and the Twitter account are kind of like posting certain things. And to Martin's point, with regards to maybe what they have access to, what they have the rights to, I think all that's kind of like flowing. Lewis Yates in the build in 1894. He goes, just join. Good to rewind. Hey, it's great to It's great to go back in time and to talk about what happened in the past. And I'm sure we all have amazing, unique stories as well, because however you came to the club, and again, it could have been your girlfriend's a Manchester City fan. She's loved the colors. Whatever the reason is, you could have been. That's the first team where I tuned in, and my favorite player from said country played for the club. Whatever it may be, whatever got you here to what has you remaining here, it's the club. And that's all that really matters, guys. FIFA in the building. Is it just me, or is Palmer a baller? Palmer's nice, man. Palmer's nice. You don't have to force that. He just needs a little time. Sean C in the building. He goes, evening blues. Blue Heart goes, I'm always going to be what I am as a City supporter for many years. I refuse to sink to the level of some of the modern day Twitterati haters. I don't walk in the gutter if I can help it. No, I hear that. You don't need to stoop to their level. You don't even need to react to some of the nonsense that they say. And trust me, this panel from Martin, Clinical, and Gundalorian, we're biting our tongues all the time. Because we could have fights every day. We could put these rivals in their place every day, but sometimes it's like, you know what? It's not even worth it, because we could hit you. We can Mike Tyson punch you with the fact in your face, and we know a couple hours later you're going to spew the same nonsense. What's the point? Singing the Blues goes, evening Vader in chat. Yo, my guy in the building. Big Morgan. Why is it not clicking? Oh, Big Morgan goes, God bless your uncle. Yo, trust me. It's actually funny on how he talks about not necessarily the game today, but about how easy it is with regards to watching games. It's too funny. Sean C goes, evening FIFA. Singing the Blues goes, my first game at Main Road involved a diamond light blue shirt with Peter Reed and Fitzroy Simpson. I love that version as much as today's. Diamond. Oh, the diamond pattern. So that would have been... Did it have a collar? Let me know if that had a white collar on that one. My son is making so much noise right now. Perone goal incoming. Great. He's going to have great chances to get on that pitch and show himself. Michael goes, the great Joe Mercer said Peter Doughty was one of the best players he saw City legend play in our first league winning season in 1936, 37? Oh, the year 1936, 37. That's history. And we've argued this. History doesn't even have to result with regards to a trophy being lifted. Imagine some of these battles that were history in the moment, right? The acknowledgement or the recognition to be like, we can fight with these guys. We can fight with anyone. Blue Heart goes, well said. Michael goes, brilliant stream, Vader. Mate, please get the likes up. Get the likes up. Thank you so much, everyone in the chat. And I'm going to go through every comment real quick, real here. I think there's about 7 of them before we move on. City Blue Peter goes, one thing I noticed as a season card holder is how different the demographic of the crowd is on Champions League night to that on regular games. I have no problem with it. No, that's sport. The games that I consume over here with regards to, I'm a Toronto Raptor fan. I go to games pretty often. The regular season games are completely different to playoffs. Because playoffs, it's like, you would think it's kind of like the hardcore, but you get a lot of the casuals. You get someone that want to come because it's an event, right? You know, you get a lot of them coming because it's a knockout. There's only going to be so many playoff games. Like for them to say or to frame or to Instagram photo their playoff ticket is a thing, right? So I get it. There would definitely be a different crowd that comes in for those league night games than comes out for the Champions League. Blue Heart goes, so you're saying that you are the Canadian Usain Bolt, Erling Haaland X? Nah, man, no. I am. If the term rapid does apply to me. I am quick. I was lucky enough. I mean, hard work, amazing genes from my mom and dad. but hard work nonetheless, because that's what it takes to get a scholarship. And I was able to earn that. But my dad made the call. He's like, dude, you're getting past these players. They're clearly trying to tackle you after you've given off the pass or you've taken a shot. We're not having it. We're not jeopardizing. And to be honest with you, I wasn't good enough. I can say this now. I wasn't good enough to get a football scholarship. I wasn't that good. City Blue Peter goes, just show how the fan base has grown. No more empty seats intended to hear Martin and and whether he thinks the atmosphere is the same as league nights. Martin's been clear, and Martin, I think they're trying to draw you out a little bit, but atmosphere, season match versus Champions League match. What's your vibe on it now? Has it kind of picked up? Has it improved? You know what? We'll leave him alone. We're going to leave him alone.
Has it changed? This season it's changed, yes.
Okay. This season.
The problem is with the league game and the Champions League game, it is a different crowd.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
You don't see a lot of the same people that you see in a league game.
Okay. So you don't see the singers, you don't see the chanters, you don't see.
There are still some City fans who won't do Champions League games.
Okay.
Because of all the stuff that's behind it. It's like, we do still boo the Champions League anthem.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
and we always will do. That's just the relationship we have with it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, no, tell a lie. We've started singing over it now. We've started singing.
That's even better.
We've started singing Blue Moon over it now. Starts off booing and then goes to Blue Moon over the top of it instead.
Okay.
But it's a different crowd. This season's a little bit different because I think the charges and everything that's come in has changed the atmosphere.
Okay.
I think it completely has. The atmosphere is a lot better now than it used to be earlier on in the season.
I like that.
I can only put it down to the charges. The charges are a lot different, but Main Road, the atmosphere was special at Main Road. It was, because we had the Kipax. We haven't got a Kipax at the Etihad, sadly. This is what they're trying to do with this extension. They're trying to build it into the new Kipax, but imagine Anfield. They've got the cop. Imagine the cop all down one side.
Okay. Yes. Yeah.
Not behind the goal, along the whole side.
Along the whole side.
That was what the Kipax was. It was all standing, and it was absolutely raucous in there.
Okay.
But there was times when Main Road was toxic as well. But we had to move. Things needed to move forward. It was built. It looked like a blind architect in the end. We had to move. It just was. It was. They spent 11 million quid on the new Kipax. That was horrendous. It just didn't fit the whole ethos around the Main Road. Main Road was falling apart. As much as we have got our memories there, it was time to move. Maybe they moved too quick in terms of they didn't do a great job, and it wasn't Caldoon's fault. We had different owners back then. We had Wardle and John Wardle, JD Sports, and the co-op were behind the club then. Now, we didn't do a great job at moving in. It looked like a bloody multi-story car park when we first went in.
Okay.
There was nothing done. It didn't look like Manchester City. There was no remnants of Manchester City other than being Manchester City in the stadium. On the outside, you wouldn't have had a clue it was Manchester City.
Yeah.
Just looked like a very generic thing. But, yeah, it's weird because same on cup games, it's a different crowd. Because you've got to remember, it's Manchester. And when people have forked out 38 games on a season ticket, they can't always make the Champions League nights. I mean, it's like the Etihad now. They've charged the cheapest ticket in the place is £48 for Bayern Munich. Now it's sold out, which is great, but there are people who I know for a fact, because I know people who cannot go to the Bayern Munich game because it was too expensive.
Yeah.
Because Manchester is still in a bit of a recession. Still got the highest food banks and things like that. So, and you get a lot of people coming in from like schools and things like that. And some of them are not City supporters, and they openly admit that.
Yeah. They're there for the game, not necessarily.
They're there to watch City Bayern Munich because it's a game.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a big game.
And it's a reality in many places where you actually have to make your choice. Like you only have so many recreational dollars at your disposal. So it's not like I'm attending every game. Sometimes you have to make a choice on what you can choose to spend your, entertainment dollars on. And it can't always be the Champions League game as well as the league game. So I understand that. Michael makes a point, and this is hitting me because this is great. Michael goes, my mom and my dad were brilliant. I always got City kits for Christmas. They used to send over to Manchester City for them, and never had any City stuff in Dublin. Love City, full stop. I don't know if it's the same case for Carl over in stateside and maybe for Clinical, but City jerseys for the Canadian dollar, I'm looking at $100+. Like if I'm trying to get an authentic jersey, it's $100+ for if I were to get a Holland or any City jersey, just plain authentic, or sorry, I should say authentic replica. It's like around 180 Canadian.
So at the start of this season, I bought my Haaland jersey with the number 9 on the back, the Champions League version.
Oh, all right, yeah.
That was $130, I believe, $130.
And you're talking US?
Yeah, US.
Yeah. So then it's been 180+ for me over here. In Canadian dollars is weaker than the US dollar. Let me point this out. FIFA goes, reckon Holland plays versus Liverpool or rest for the UCL. No, he's playing both games. FIFA, he's playing both games. Not this week. I think we have the opportunity to. Maybe we do it on. We're gonna do it on one of our channels. Pitch Points, True City Fan, Making Way. But the preview to the Liverpool game, that's gonna be. Don't miss that. You're definitely not gonna want to miss that. And when we talk about it. I think the assumption's made that whoever plays in the Liverpool game, expect them to play in the UCL game. I think there's enough. I think there's enough time between the two of them. Michael also points out, please get the likes up, Blues. Yeah, do that for me. Good point, Bader mate. I think that was with regards to us and the teams having to choose. I mean, spectators or supporters having to choose between the money. Off topic. Do pies taste the same as they did at Main Road? FIFA is asking. Martin.
No, different company.
Different company. Okay.
And they're a lot more expensive now.
Yeah, I'm sure. Blue Heart goes, I think the younger fans don't really appreciate that the Kaipax was a long stand down one side of the pitch, and it was all standing, and it was incredible atmosphere in big games.
Yeah.
No, that's fair. Because even with regards to depending on how you see some imagery, you're just assuming everyone's standing for the occasion, not standing because that's what that's what you had to do. So no, you're right in that understanding. And I believe the funny thing is Martin's kind of joked about this. Was it Martin or maybe it was Daps? But joked about how some other supporters have complained about people standing. Right, so it really depends on the crowd. It really depends on maybe on the night, but
you do get that. You do get people telling you to sit down, shut up,
sit down, be quiet.
You do. Yeah. It is. This is what I mean. It's a different time. It's a different energy now. And so some different games bring different people out, I suppose.
I hear that. Blue Heart goes.
It's like. Sorry, it's like Champions League nights. People get phones out on corners, which baffles me to this day.
No,
I'm like,
I got to challenge you on that one, Martin. I got to challenge you on that one, only because, and if you, regardless of you having your phone out, you can still give the rival, if the rival's taking the corner, the business. Still give them the business. There's nothing that says when you have your phone out, you need to just stand there calmly and just watch. Like, I don't. That's what drives me crazy, to be honest with you. I don't get too worked up with the phone being out and them wanting to record the moment. But you can record the moment and still give the opposition the business. That's the thing.
Yeah, but they don't do that later. They don't do that.
Yeah.
The phones are out to take photos of Messi or Benzema or whoever else. But none of the pictures.
Yeah, I got you.
You're not at the theatre. What's that about?
No, I hear you.
No, I'm sorry. Football's tribalist. Football's tribalist. Why am I getting a phone out to take a picture of bloody Messi taking a corner?
No, I know.
Forget that rubbish. I'm hurling abuse at the guy. I'm not sat there going, smile for the camera.
True. I'm with you. Oh man. Oh, did I miss
No, I
it?
said maybe it's me. Maybe I'm different. I get it, but it causes arguments within the stadium. Let's put it that way.
Yeah. Not now, but then yes, I was faster than Walker. Track speed is faster than any other speed. Like, I won't go into that debate right now, FIFA. That's often a debate amongst many, but honestly, athletics, like track speed, there's nothing that can match it. You got to think these people are, all they do is train to be able to be as efficient and as fast as possible. Now, if you're trying to,
I'm just going to go mute beta, so
yeah, no worries.
No, just so Carl and Clinical can speak as well.
Oh yeah, no, 100%. FIFA goes UCL light show for Martin versus Bayern. He's gonna be our correspondent for that for sure. Brilliant points, blue heart on the Kaipa. Yep, facts. It's amazing, and trust me, I think even though they're at the Etihad and things are different, I'm sure there's some brains out there to really make sure that the atmosphere, that origin, that tradition with regards to getting the best out of the crowds for that energy, they're working on it. They're 100% working on it. Trust me.
That's what the extension's about.
Yeah. City Blue Peter goes, what about the light show on Champs League night? Kills the atmosphere for me. We won't address that.
Well, it's for the kids.
I can speak to that. I mean,
go ahead, Gundo's got a great
Well, my
point.
son was there. My son is 7 years old now. He absolutely loved it. Oh, it was one of the highlights before the game even starts. I mean, it was just, the light show was just amazing for him. And these are kids who are 6, 7 years old. The future belongs to them. Let's be clear. I think the future is the old ways of doing things where no light shows, no music. Those days are gone, mate. Days are gone. That's the future. These kids who are 7 years old, who will be the City fans of the future, this is the life that they live. This is what they enjoy. This is what they love. They love the game. Mm-hmm. They love the game. Be clear. They love the game and the goals and the banter, but they like the light show too.
Yeah.
It's
and the thing is, and Carl, you and I have said this, regardless of whatever happens with this light show, it can't be so draining. It can't be so ruin. It can't ruin the mood like that to then, when the ball gets kicked, to then have your loudest voice in chess. Like,
I don't think it ruins the mood. I actually like it. I mean, for me, I like it because it's just chilled. I mean, one of the things I enjoyed the most when I went to the Etihad, for me, I loved the most was, so I'm sitting there, was the game against Schalke, was it Champions League game against Schalke? And I look to my right and I see this group of fans create this ocean of blue with a boat, right?
Oh, okay.
Kind of on the ocean, right?
Yeah.
I absolutely loved it. It was so mind-bending. It was so enjoyable to see that live, and there was blue smoke around it. It was just amazing. I mean, I really enjoyed it. I was there for the game. I was there for the match. I could smell the grass. I could feel the air. I could feel the people. That little piece there was just magical for me, and I enjoyed it.
Yeah, but that's what it should be. That's what it should be. The trouble is, the light show, you can't do that.
Yeah, the light show is cool, man.
Listen, I get the light shows for kids, and I understand that. But exactly what you just said then, Carl, it's very hard to do that when the stadium's in pitch black with lasers going on.
Yeah,
You can't sing over it. You can't generate an atmosphere around that. It becomes hard.
Well, I mean,
it does kill the mood. Honestly, I'm in the stadium for it. It does kill the mood.
Well, the Leipzig game, the mood was good, right? During the game, right? It didn't kill the mood there, did it? It was good mood.
It kills it for about 10 minutes and then it gets going again. For about 10 minutes, it does kill it a little bit. But the trouble with Champions League nights, like I said, we were singing over started off with the booing and then we went to the singing over the Champions League anthem.
Yeah, this question from Daniel about Foden being it's appendicitis. It's probably 2.5, 3 weeks max. It's not.
No, they've said 2 to 6 weeks, depending on his recovery.
I guess cautious.
Appendicitis is not. I mean, he's a young kid, man. It's like he gets removed and he gets healed.
He's going to be like Wolverine. He'll recover. But 2 to 6, we'll be cautious with it. Let's say 6 so that the rivals.
He's not 6.
No. I know, but we'll say 6 for the rivals to be like, oh, Foden's out for 6 weeks. Oh, look, the league title.
In a way, it's Alvarez time, right?
Yep.
Now we have now Pep has less choices. Now he can.
Oh yes. Now, yeah. His hands are tied now. He has to throw in Alvarez. I hear. Danny goes, the light show is absolutely quality. FIFA goes, I like light shows, and I'm 18. All right, fair enough. Agreed, Daniel. Daniel goes, rival fans criticize the light show because they're jealous. Facts. And we've heard some big former Manchester United players talk about the light show. Franklin goes, good to see y'all. Just seen Foden injury. Shake my head. Stay calm. 2 to 6 weeks. Tell the rivals it'll be 6 weeks. Better to underestimate. What do you say? Under promise. And in this case, we're going to under promise how quickly he's coming back, but he will be coming back pretty quickly. Sean C goes, no light shows at the Premier League games. Thanks. Leave it for the Champions League and new fans. Leave it for the show. Leave it for the spectacle. Leave it for the drama of the Champions League. That's cool. We know that some enjoy, some don't, and it's about finding the mixture. Michael goes, look at the League Cup on YouTube against United. Okay, in 1975-76 game, and we won 4-1. The worst thing about the night was the great Colin Bell getting hurt and recall. Oh, yeah. I mean, with regards to those late battles, right? And even when you go, and this is the thing, for many fans, the young fans, it's not so much that they don't have interest in watching it, but sometimes as the older fans, it's to tie in, it's to maybe take a moment and think of that moment in history and just give them the tidbit on like the importance of it. Unfortunately, younger generations, they're like, okay, what's the reason? Like, what's the factor? Give me the Coles notes type thing. But nah, all those matches and Martin Clinical Gundo. This is the thing that I mean, you know what? This actually should be a group chat conversation. So I'm not going to go too deep into it. But when we were talking about on the Citizens Neighborhood Watch with regards to Apple getting into the mix with regards to TV and streaming rights, I'm curious what the length of streaming and viewing rights that they have with regards to games, right? Like,
so I believe the Sky and BT and all these guys, I believe the next rights tender will be in the next 18 months, I believe it is. Yes, I think the new one it's about 2-3 years old. I think it's every 3 years or so. I think the next one's about in the next 18 months or so. Okay. And this goes back to the whole argument about United and Liverpool, right? We talked about in your last show, right? Mm-hmm. They ain't selling the club. It's not happening.
I know.
It's finance 101, right? Why would I sell an asset that's 10 times what I bought it for and could also be 20 times in the future with new rights deals for TV rights? Yeah. Why would I sell it? For what reason on earth? All I'm going to do, Data, is sell off a percentage of the business because the value is appreciated, make some cash, and still own majority of the asset.
Yeah.
So United and FSG, I don't expect them to sell out the whole club. I expect them to sell 10%, 20%, 30% of the club and make their cash.
Yeah. Yeah. And this is the thing that, and again, and I went on a little long. I enjoyed you being able to jump on the show, Gundo, with that point, and then later on the show, Martin was able to join. But I try to think of how the Glazers have been for their entire tenure, right? And their actions to want to sell seem so contradictory to how they've been, because there's so much with regards to more revenue, or I should say more value with regards to the club, which in turn allows them to have more leverage. And so I don't know. And then again, I'm just a neighborhood. I'm just in the neighborhood. I'm just watching.
To be fair, Vader, think about it. I mean, I expect that Sheikh Mansour at some point will sell a portion of City or the CFG.
Yes. Right.
He's a businessman, right?
And to be honest, he already has. There's a portion.
Yeah. So to Silver Lake, and I believe the Chinese, I believe Chinese are selling back or something anyway. But that's a smart thing to do, right? If you want to cash out your investment, you don't have to sell the whole thing. Just sell a portion of the equity. Now, the Chelsea transaction set the bar for everybody in the Premier League.
Yeah.
Because when Todd Bowley bought Chelsea for $3 billion, we now know that a Premier League club of Chelsea size with their fan base is worth about $3 billion, which means FSG knows now that the valuation for Liverpool is about $3.5 billion. Okay? Right. Because somebody already paid $3 billion for Chelsea. So what does that mean? They bought it for $300 million years ago. It's now valued at $3.5 billion. All they have to do is sell 20% of the club. That's $700 million. That's 2.5 times what they paid for it in cash, and they still own 8%.
Yes, I know. It doesn't. It's so I'm trying to be calm, and I don't want to get too giddy. I don't want to get too like United fans. Relax, chill. I don't want to do that. Let them live their best life. Let them have their dreams or whatever. But when you think of the Glazers and them being profiteers, I don't see it happening. But we'll continue to discuss that for sure moving forward, because that soap opera is not going anywhere. That's going to remain. FIFA goes, how much would you pay ticket sellers for the pool game? I've seen people wanting 200 quid. Is it worth it? That's a huge game. That's a huge game.
You should be paying face value and nothing more. If they're charging you, you're being ripped off.
Anything over face value. Yeah. I mean, there is I hear you. Supply and demand, but again, tickets should be sold for what the face value is.
It's something they're trying to outlaw in this country a lot.
They're trying to
they're trying to outlaw it because it's people just profiteering, and it's wrong.
No, they're trying to do the same thing here in North America, because you essentially have what are called scalpers, and because they have a lot of that cash up front.
Can't stand them.
They get them in bulk. Yeah. Daniel goes, I don't care about United getting new owners. I only care about what we are doing. And that's 100% a fact. And you know what? This is funny. Big account, YouTube, big account, Manchester United fan. And for many of his videos, he was kind of dropping or suggesting that Manchester City and the league are like scared of Arsenal, scared of United new owners, what it means to them, what it means to the league. It's going to be wrap. Everything's going to be shut down. United get these new owners, they're going to be back to the Fergie days. Okay, if you believe Ten Hag is of Fergie level, cool. That's up to you. Still, verdict's not out yet on this guy. He hasn't proven anything yet. But if that's what you United fans want to believe, cool. The next absolutely. The next time I see anything suggesting Manchester City being scared, is please, and I hope you guys just spam this on here, and because I'll know where it's coming from. I'll know that it's CIA based, right? But spam There's I believe it's Blade 2, and Wesley Snipes, who's Blade, he's talking to the vampires. Sorry, this is gonna be long-winded, but he's talking to the vampires, and I believe that there's a GIF, but there's definitely a moment in the movie where he just goes, ooh, like he goes like he shakes, like he's terrified, like he's scared, but he's like mocking it. And the next time that and obviously it's gonna have to be on the socials. If that goes out, just please, I'm gonna know you're part of the CIA if I see that gift within those comments. All right, and it's gonna be across the timeline. So let's do that next time around. FIFA goes, United are crap. Let them rot. It's a fair point.
Well, the reality is that United outspent City anyway. So what's going to change?
Speak on it.
Right? You know, what's going to change? They've always outspent us year after year after year, maybe except for 2017, 2018, which actually they got Pogba, they had Sanchez, so they outspent us again. Okay. So what's going to change? This idea that somehow United gets a Qatari owner, which they're probably going to get. He's probably going to import part of the club. I said the company. What's going to change? They've always outspent us, yet the results have been poor.
Yeah.
Right. Chelsea have spent £600 million in the past 6 months.
2 transfer win. Yeah. Ugh.
The
crazy.
10.
Crazy.
So it's not what you spend. Is how you spend it and how you manage what you've spent.
Yeah.
I.e., who you buy, how you work with them to cook up a team that can win. That's what it's all about. Brighton 100%. Don't spend that kind of money. Look at Brighton today.
Oh, Brighton's dangerous. Brighton's dangerous. Manager left, new manager in, and they're still cooking.
They're still cooking.
That's true. I want to shout out Daniel. He goes, these United fans don't learn. It's not about having the most money. They spent the most already. It's about spending right and having a great board who works with the manager and works together. You're absolutely right, Daniel. And that's why, to Carl's point, I wanted to bring that comment up, because you guys are on the same wavelength. It's not about United having all this unlimited cash flow for them to do their thing. Yeah, you get these crazy fans, to your point, these United fans that think they're going to be buying the Mbappes and the Harry Kanes, and they're going to go and get De Jong, and they're going to bring back Pogba, all kind of nonsense, right? They want to talk that way. But it really is about spending right. And what I love, and this not to be discussed on this show, maybe on Why Always Me, but what I love about what Manchester City's doing, Manchester City is, and we joke about this whole sustainability model, right? But think of Manchester City like that person that wants to get off the grid. That person they want solar panels because they don't want to have to be dependent on things. They want to have their own garden because they don't want to have to go out and have to buy. They want to grow their own. Think of what we're doing with regards to our academies. Think about what we're doing with regards to, again, it's not owners' money that's keeping us sustainable. It's about the business model. It's about being a quote unquote those off the grids, right? Those looking to be completely efficient on their own, self-sustainable. That's been the City model. And when you see what they're doing, it's intelligence that's that's really backing or informing the decisions that are being made. And I'm all for it. Imagine being able to grow your own fruits and vegetables. You grow your own talent. You're then less dependent on the transfer window. And at the same time, you're growing your own fruits and vegetables, and now you're going to the farmer's market. You're making profit of what you're growing yourself. This analogy, I'm going to continue to bake because that was on the fly, but I'm going to continue to bake that a little bit because I see how it relates really well with City. That was just a freestyle right there. Julian goes, FFP will be revamped if Qatar buy United, LOL. I wouldn't be surprised. And again, the thumbnail to this entire show was about hypocrites.
FFP has already been revamped. Let's be clear. There's no more FFP. It's called FSR.
Fair. Yep, that's right.
And we talked about this, a couple of months ago, right?
Several months.
Are about wages to income and the limit that you must comply with. So it's been changed already.
Yeah.
You know,
Daniel goes, PSG have owners from Qatar. Look at their mess. Great point. Great point. Daniel goes, United were dominant because of Fergie. We are dominant because of Pep. Ten Hag is not that manager, respectfully. Exactly. Unproven. But let these United fans get all giddy and hype about it. Let them do it. Conte gone from Spurs. Is that official? We're hearing it here first. CIA. Conte gone from Spurs. City Blue.
Yeah.
City Blue Peter put that in the mix. Yeah, crazy how the dominoes are being affected.
You know what I just noticed real quick. So my son is here with me. He's watching the Arsenal versus City game right now. He's next to me watching. He's watching City games all day, all Sunday.
Sorry, which Arsenal City game?
The one we just played January, February. The one.
Okay, the 3-1.
Did you know that at halftime was 1-1? Pep takes the boys in, figure out what Arsenal are doing. The second half, we battered them.
Mm-hmm.
Completely battered them. We scored 2 goals, could have been 3.
Yeah.
I'm watching the game again, and they had no answers to what we did in the second half.
Yeah, and they got gifted that penalty too. Like, let's be real. Yeah.
But just think about the way that we adapted and we adopted change to confront what they were doing.
Mm-hmm.
It was just incredible. I'm watching it again right now. We second half completely battered them.
You know what, Carl? I'm actually mad because I tried to do the same thing the other night. With this international break, I was going to go back and watch our games against Liverpool and Arsenal, but my app, my TV provider with regards to football games, it didn't record the last game. So that 3-1, it didn't record it, but I have the FA Cup game recorded. So I'm like,
we're lucky to have the Peacock app, so we can go back and look at all the.
My app has it's capped, but
it was. I mean, looking at it now, we're 10 minutes in the second half. The red card or the penalty for Gabriel. I mean, we battered them. It wasn't even close. We literally did.
And another thing that does get talked about. I'm gonna throw this to you, Clinical. Another thing that doesn't get talked about much is how uncomfortable their center backs looked with Haaland.
Yeah.
Like I know he didn't have a crazy game, but you could see that they're not comfortable with him and the movements that he's making. So it's like, hey, you can think everything's calm and hunky dory, but Haaland.
I'm watching it right now, and literally what saved Gabriel was the offside.
Yes,
clear penalty would have been a yellow card. Clear.
Yes.
I mean, Erling Haaland literally bullies this guy off the field completely. Ramroads him off the field. It's not even. We're playing a halfway line. Dominating the ball. I think he just couldn't cope.
So you know what? Sorry for those of you in the chat because
sorry.
No, it's all good. I'm gonna go to these comments, but you actually sparked something that had me thinking. Blue Heart goes, that's what makes me laugh. United spend big, then the fans blame the Glazers when it's the manager, coach, and players that put their game on the pitch. Let them spend all they want. That's exactly right. Like the fan base is truly the Glazers and the fan base are truly the problem over at United. They can't be on the same wavelength. They don't know what they want. That's one thing. But yeah, when things aren't right on the pitch, they blame the Glazers. When the Glazers have been spending for them and they're still not happy, they blame the Glazers, but they blame the manager, but realize that the manager can only do what he can do, and maybe he's not good enough. So you take the loss. 2 things that I want to mention. And this is with regards to say intelligent agendas. It's because we take time and think. We don't just spout off. We don't just talk. We don't just have diarrhea from the mouth, right? We actually take time and think. Now, if you have the Arsenal fan base that want to claim their Wenger era, and this is what they came up and are accustomed to with regards to their club and winning. Okay, you get that fan base. Then you get the United fan base. Oh, the Fergie era. I'm accustomed to winning and competing for Champions League and league titles. Then you get the Chelsea fans that talk about the Abramovich era, right? And them winning, even though it required a lot of different managers, but their winning era. When you then want to look at Liverpool, and Liverpool claiming, and before Klopp, they weren't claiming their best era, because I think their best era would have been the 70s and the 80s. But obviously they were competing for Champions League, and now recently with Klopp, they got the league title. when you have these fan base, and when we talk about delusional, when we talk about not being of sound mind, right, not having an intelligent points, and I get it, you're fans, so you're going to be emotional, but all four of these fans, now you throw City in the mix, all four of these fans can't all claim to be winning the Champions League and league title every year, because only one team can do that, or maybe two teams can do that. One can win the UCL, one can win the EPL. So what? The three other clubs should be demanding their manager to be sacked or players to be let go. Like think about somehow how crazy some of these fans are with regards to, I'm accustomed to my team winning. My team competes for Champions League and league titles. Like, let's be real here. And when we come across as City fans, we say we want our team competing because we recognize how good they are and to be in the mix. And you can't always come away with a trophy. That's not small club mentality. That's not small fan base, not wanting to win mentality. It's recognizing what competition is. And you want your team to compete, period. How they compete is very important. Falling short by a few points or whatever, we recognize that. Falling completely off the map and not even being in contention is something completely different. So, dead me with this. I need to come across with a league title or UCL, and if I don't, this season's a failure. Think about it for a second. Here at the CIA, we think first. Think about that. Sorry, I got behind on these. And I want to get back to this other point. Sorry, I see the topics, but I want to get back to this other point. The way Arsenal played us, Gundo, and I know we're getting a little tactical right now, and you have it on screen. But here's what I find really interesting with regards to Pep and what he's been doing over the years. And I'm sure you definitely recognize this when you're on the sidelines with your coaching. If the opposition decide to not play such a high line, they're inviting more of an attack from us because of the amount of pitch that they now concede. So I think it's going to be an interesting chess match or a little cat and mouse, because obviously Arsenal had their difficulties when they pretty much defended from the halfway line and also decided to go almost man to man, right?
Yeah.
So
yeah. So that game, what I expected Arsenal to do against us was to sit back and counterattack.
Okay.
To play a 4-3-3, but a narrow 4-3-3, like what Newcastle did at St. James's Park against us, right?
Okay.
Try to crowd the middle of the park and then use the pace of play almost like a 4-3-2-1, right? But instead of having wide threes, you have a narrow three. So you almost have Saka and Martinelli as narrow, and then you have Eddie Nketiah as the top of the arrow. And then you have the three in the middle. So basically crowd that middle part of the field, because what City like to do with the 3-box-3 is to overload you centrally. So it's always going to be 4v3 or 4v2. So when you do that, what Newcastle was play literally a 6 in the middle of the park, which forced us out wide.
Yeah.
When we lose the ball out wide, we'll get counterattack, which is why Walker struggled a lot, because they kept losing the ball. What they did was try to match us in a 4-3-3. Expansive 4-3-3, high and wide wingers with a high line. Got battered. Got absolutely battered.
Yeah.
You cannot. I mean, unfortunately, yes, Arsenal have good players, but let's be clear: you cannot play a 4-3-3 high and wide against City, who've been doing this for years in the Guardiola system. You will get battered.
I agree, and it's going to be
unless you're Liverpool, right? But even Liverpool like to play with almost what I call a 2-3-5, right? 2 center backs, 3 midfield, and 5.
Yeah.
That's what they do, right?
Yeah.
So they overload your defense by playing 5 attacking players, three attacking and two with Trent and what's his name, Robertson, playing as high and wide fullbacks. Yeah, that's what they do.
And it's going to be, and again, where they've been falling short, Liverpool, is they're not getting the same work rate within the midfield. But we're going to see, because that match on the first that match on the first is definitely going to get talked about. I want to put this out. Daniel goes, Sky Sports, Tottenham part ways with head coach
no surprise,
Antonio Conte. No surprise there. It's obviously been rumored, speculated. He's been obviously making moves to get himself out the door. I don't think there's any manager other than maybe Mourinho who are better at getting fired because I think they retain more of whatever contract with regards to terms of the deal and payouts.
They'll pay him.
Yeah,
They'll pay him the balance of his
Conte,
contract.
masterclass in getting fired. I got D-Mize Mob in the building. He goes, "LOL, you lot are basically a Twitter mouthpiece." What do you mean? What do you mean exactly by Twitter mouthpiece, though?
I don't understand that.
Yeah, like which points are you referring to with regards to a Twitter mouthpiece? Because here's the thing: we get content, and we ourselves look at football from many different angles. Things that are mentioned off of Twitter may be very similar, but again, these are different points. So you're gonna have to be specific with regards to that. And I want to go to Michael. Michael goes, "Brilliant stream, Vader, mate." Yeah, I mean, thanks to Clinical, Gundelorian, and Martin, we got the gold right here. Julian Nagelsmann, the next manager to be destroyed by Levy's thought. If he goes there, now Blue Heart, this is what I would say: Nagelsmann does not need to rush to get into another job. He again. I know it would be embarrassing with regards to his CV resume to be let go from Bayern, but he doesn't need to rush into the next job. Do I sound crazy with that? With regards to that, Martin or Gundo, does Nagelsmann need to rush into another job, or can he wait?
No, he shouldn't do that. Especially to Spurs.
Yeah,
that's madness.
Yeah. Fair point.
Let me give you the shout. Let me give you the shout, right?
Yeah.
I think Nagelsmann could cook for Chelsea Football Club.
Yeah.
If Chelsea was serious, right? Nagelsmann would cook for them.
Mm-hmm.
He would be competitive with them, not Spurs.
Yeah, but Bowley can't fire a second manager in 1 year, can he?
Yes, he can.
I guess he can.
Yes, he can.
I mean,
he won't do that.
It would be Chelsea DNA.
Yeah. He wants to try and change it, doesn't he?
The problem, Martin, is that if he finishes 10th in the league, gets kicked out of the Champions League, and next season they're again in 6th, 7th, 8th, what's he going to do? Continue on? Can't.
Okay.
He's looking at it as a long-term project, though, isn't he? That's the way he's looking at it.
This is the problem. Everybody thinks there's no long-term project, mate. You know what, Martin, you and I know there's no long-term project.
At Chelsea.
There's no long-term project.
I agree. His contracts are long-term, but that gives the perception of long-term.
If you're 9th every year for the next 4 years, you think Chelsea fans are going to have that? It's not a long-term project. You deliver now.
No, but the trouble is, you've got so many teams competing now. Someone has to lose out.
Yeah.
You can't have.
Yeah.
You got to remember, there's 3 trophies, 4 spots, and about 8 teams who can all compete now.
Yeah.
You're just going to end up on a merry-go-round of sat manager, get a manager, sat manager, get a manager.
Yeah.
That's the problem. So someone's got to take the long-term project. Someone's got to try and do it. I know it's going back a bit, but imagine if United had sat Fergie.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one. George, I want to thank you. Newly subscribed. I appreciate it. Much love there. By the way, good job was due tonight. I did not see the match. I'm going to watch the extended highlights, but
I did.
I'm going to take your word for it.
He was good.
He was good. Now,
I wasn't impressed again. But I'm just going to lean on you guys.
I'm starting to wonder what Carl's got to say with you to make him impressed.
No, I don't know. I just
Jesus. Did you see that move when he ran around about 4 of them?
I don't know what it is, man.
It's okay. It's okay.
Maybe
it's
in
okay.
my mind, right? Maybe in my mind, I'm looking for a David Silva regen, right? That kind of number 8 who is silky smooth, on the ball, creative,
that's hard.
has that powers that, right?
That's hard to find, man.
But that's the level I'm thinking about. Not a guy who can run. Yes, he can run, can dribble occasionally. Then nothing else.
That's hard to find. Yeah,
he can do more than that. He can do more. I think you're really underrating him there. Right. Really underrating him.
Again, I'm going to lean on you guys. I'm going to lean on you guys, and
it's going to be.
I'll hold out hope.
At the end of the day, 3 or 4 of the best teams in the world are not after this kid for the fun of it.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
They're not after Real Madrid, City, and Liverpool, and probably United at some point. I've not all had a look at this kid and thought, nah. You got to remember that this kid has got something. And to me, he ticks every box. Go in.
You know what? Actually, that will be a potential show. We can categorize the key boxes, right? The key boxes,
FIFA, you've had a nightmare there. FIFA, you've had a nightmare.
The needs and wants, and we can see which one, as a panel, which one we agree he checks off, and maybe have a healthy combo. George goes Perone better than Bellingham.
I think that Camavinga of Real Madrid, for me, I prefer him to Bellingham. There's a smoothness that he has on and off the ball that, and maybe because he's young, Bellingham doesn't have at this point in time.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Which he controls the game that Bellingham, I think, still needs to learn.
I know.
Many times Bellingham will stretch, where he's stretching and he's not under control. He's running, but he's not under control.
Yeah, he's not well balanced. Yeah, I know what you're saying.
There yet. Maybe because he's young, right? Maybe because he's young. But
I kind of chalked it up to maybe a little rawness, a little youth. But
so we'll see. I'm still.
Demise in the building. He goes. Demise Mob. He goes about the flip flop from blaming Glazers to manager. No, okay. Demise. Maybe it did sound a little bit Twitter-ish, but you can't deny that a portion of your fan base will chastise, criticize, demand Glazers out. We want them out. And when we've noticed that the Glazers then, again, we've said this before, they've appeased, and maybe it's not you as the fan, but a large portion of your fan base, they've been appeased with a new signing. Okay? And then the Glazers out comments are then gone. It's about talking. It's about speculating. Oh, what will this new player mean to us? Will we challenge? Will we be top 4? That's where the conversation goes. And I'm sure you've seen this. Look at your United content creators. How much are they talking Glazers out? Like, let's be real. Is it something that they're talking about every time? And I know there's whispers of this takeover. I get all that. But even with the whispers of the takeover, how often are they talking about they want the Glazers out? They're already talking about the season. They're talking about how they can compete. They're talking about potential 3-4 trophies. Like that's where we go from. Your fan base complains about the Glazers. Get a player. They're focused on the season. Season doesn't go the way they want it. They then criticize the manager, or they go back to criticizing the Glazers. That's the thing. And again, I'm not going to be overly defensive. You're completely entitled to your opinion. I love that you're on the channel. We're able to have this combo. But that's been a clear observation from what we've seen. Now, I'm a little behind with regards to the topics. Blue Heart actually mentioned with regards to Todd Bowley. So Todd Bowley has returned Chelsea into a fantasy football club. He's got a lot of work to do. It's his 1 year. It's his first year. Hasn't been smooth. It's been a little reckless. He's I'm not going to say over-invested, but he's invested a lot. Now, how he then chooses to prune or streamline, we'll have to wait and see. He's definitely spent a lot of money, and right now, similar to what we just talked about with the United, Chelsea fans, if Potter delivers them to the semifinals, what are they going to say? What are they going to say? A manager getting the club year 1 to the semifinals, and he didn't even start the year with these players. You got to give the man some time, right? You got, like, come on. I'm told that the Champions League advancing through the knockout stage is difficult. I believe it is difficult. So if Potter, as much as the doubts are out there, if he's able to do it, Chelsea fans, you got to quiet up. I think you got to quiet up. Daniel goes, George, Bellingham is a transition player. He is not a great controller who is press resistant. Perone is technically brilliant. Hey, they're going to be training together.
But that's what we need. We actually need transitional.
Fair. If Bellingham does come to us, right, he's going to be surrounded by greatness. He's going to be soaking it in. He's going to see the same way Foden had the privilege of being around David Silva, being around Gundogan, being around KDB, seeing how they trained, seeing how they prepared themselves, seeing how they really got into space and handled the ball. I hope Bellingham is a sponge and he's just observing.
That's the thing, mate. It depends how people look at Bellingham. Are they looking at him as a Gundo and Bernardo replacement, which I don't think he will be, or are they looking at him as a KDB replacement? Because I don't think Pep will put Foden into midfield at the moment.
So either. Yeah,
I don't think he's going to do that. So this dream of Foden slips into KDB, I don't think it's going to happen. And I think because Jude can do the transitional like KDB, I think it's a perfect time to do it, where you've got KDB, who's probably got 2 years, maybe a bit longer left. He can learn from KDB. He's 19. And you listen to the way Pep speaks about Jude.
Yeah.
The only time he's spoken about a player this much was Jack Grealish. I knew he'd be going back.
And
Jack Grealish.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. You know what? We're not going to go down the Jude route. We're not going to go the Jude route. FIFA goes, why can't we offer Gundo a 2-year deal?
Because it isn't what we do. It isn't what we do as a club. Yeah. Anyone over the age of 30 gets 1 year.
Yeah. You know what Gundolorian, I see Gundo becoming I can see great coaching success in front of him.
Yeah, definitely. I was watching a game recently with him. I think it was the Burnley game. That's it. The Burnley.
Yes. Yeah.
And the cameraman panned to a shot of him on the sideline. They spent about 10, 20 seconds on him.
Mm-hmm.
The game was going on, and his eyes were darting around the whole place. And I can see the coach in him thinking about what's going on. What can I change? How do you? He
was scanning the pitch. Yeah.
I don't know if you saw that clip. I don't know if you saw it or not.
Mm-hmm.
But these are the little things I see in the game, and those are coach's eyes.
Yeah.
Right. The way he's looking and talking and looking. He's not saying he's just looking at the game, and the way his mouth was or his face was kind of grimacing, and you could see that he's thinking about the game. Didn't play the game, but he's thinking about the game from a coaching perspective, which he's going to be a great coach. There's no doubt.
Yeah, I think so too. Cap goes, I think Pep is trying to dominate every facet of the game, which means he is changing his idea a little from his total possession approach to a very dynamic and versatile play style. I agree with you to a certain degree, Cap. I think Pep is looking to still have total control, but to have elements where he can exploit or take advantage with regards to being dynamic and being direct, having that versatility. With a player like Haaland, obviously, the way Haaland does get into that midfield at times, he does control the ball, he feeds it off to the wings, and then he runs into the space. It's that combination, and I think he's going to want that of a few more. Obviously, KDB can do that. We've seen Foden actually do that very well. But when you have a player like Gundo quality. That ball to his foot, same for Silva. That ball to their foot, polished. They can keep it close. They can spread it, play 1-2s, and move. I would love that aspect of that game to happen for Jude if he does come. But if there's one player, ball to foot, that can maybe play a pass but also run with it, KDB right now is only that guy. KDB's that guy that really does that really does. Foden as well, but I'm talking midfield. Maybe that's an element that we're looking to get, because it is missing from other players within the squad. But we'll see. We know that Pep's always thinking. D-Moz Mob goes, the Glazers hire the managers, and they have obviously chosen wrongly. And yes, they have spent money, but spent wrongly. And nothing from their own pockets. That's the fact and the reason we want the Glazers out. I get it. And you know what? On another show, maybe on Citizens Neighborhood Watch.
So they want to spend $2 billion. As long as $1 billion of it comes out of their own pockets, it's all right.
See, D-Moz Mob. This is why I wanted to chill, because I knew.
What a load of garbage.
I knew Martin or Gundo or Clinical were going to...
No, but it's garbage, mate. It doesn't matter where the money bloody comes from. They've still spent more than Manchester City. Stop bitching and moaning about the money. It doesn't matter if it comes from United sales of shirts. It doesn't matter if it comes out the Glazers' own pocket. They've still spent more than us. Buy better. Stop shopping on Instagram.
All right.
Sorry, it boils me completely when I hear this crap about own pockets.
Yeah. Sorry, Clinical, you're saying something?
What makes it worse is that the funny thing is, I always hear rival fans saying that what they have over us is that they spend what they make, and our owners are spending out of their pockets, which is why it's wrong and why we're
Yeah.
and that I just want to clarify, right? That is when they say that, it's absolute nonsense.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. How many owners are doing that, by the way? How many owners after so many years are dipping in their own pockets? Why would you buy a business if you're going to fund it for 20 years?
It's not about Martin. If you look at the facts, Sheikh Mansour is not dipping into his pocket and providing cash to.
No, we're self-reliant.
Yeah.
You know.
But don't tell them the truth. Don't tell them the truth. They don't like that.
I remember a space I was on about 2 months ago, Beta. I think you were on, Martin was on that space, where I was talking to some Arsenal fans. And they asked us about who are our sponsors. And I wrapped it off 30 sponsors. Remember that space?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
I talked about Cadbury. I talked about Gatorade. I talked about all these sponsors who are big time commercial sponsors who fund the club. Now, if you are smart enough to do some research of your own and look at the website, at the bottom of the website, they're all there.
Yeah.
And by the way, just listen to that guy there, Demes. He's kind of hypocritical, used his own thing on. Well, our owners, we want owners who spend money. And then in a comment later on says, doesn't matter where the money comes, what?
Yeah, no.
You spent more money than us. Spend it better.
It's a combo. It's a combo that we can definitely get into on CIA. We won't deal with it on this one in particular.
No, it just bugs me, Vader, because people genuinely think Sheikh Mansour is writing checks from his personal checking account, going, "Oh, Jude Bellingham, 130 million. Here you go, lad." He's not doing that. Do you think we've sold all them plays in the summer because we just fancied doing it?
No,
Yeah,
I know. And again, when I was freestyling, I made that sustainability combo. Like, honestly, rival fans don't want to hear it. They don't believe it. They still go back to 2009. They still go back to that. Like, that's not how the club is managed or spent. That's not how things are done anymore. And
so any business works. When they first take over, you spend money to make money. It's an old saying, you spend money to make money.
Yeah.
Any business does that. But you shouldn't be dipping in your own pocket 10 years later.
Yeah.
Yes, they need to get better players, but that falls on managers as well.
Mm-hmm.
Managers need to, acquire better things. Troubles United, like I said the other day, the Glazers have a protest, and the Glazers buy them a Christmas present. Everything's hunky-dory again.
Okay.
Fair. Anyway.
Real quick, and Demise Mob again. Your points, we've heard them. We don't agree with all of them, and we're throwing out different points of view. But again, we get it. You as a fan base, you would not want, you do want your owners to come out of pocket. Funny enough, we over here at City Fans, we're not wanting our owners to come out of pocket. Get it? Early edition. We understand the investment that was put in coming into the club, but we're not demanding, and no club should be demanding their owners to really have to come out of pocket to fund player additions. You as a fan of United, right? Biggest club in England, arguably. I'll say you are, but I'll also say arguably because Liverpool fans will want that. But with your incoming, with your revenue, you don't need the Glazers to go into pocket. You don't. So let's kind of chill. But again, that would be more of a citizens neighborhood watch type combo when United and City fans go back and forth. I hope you can tune in and check that show out. I'm going to try to make that more of a permanent. I'll pick a day and make that more permanent, and hopefully I can find something that works best with schedules, because all of us kind of do this between our work days. This happens to be Sunday, so it's been nice and chill. Now I want to put this on screen just before. Let me do this properly. Here we go. Where is it? Is that it? No, maybe it's this. Okay. So it's behind me, and you know what? Maybe I'll adjust this for today. I'll take that off the screen, and then I'll move this. Nope, did not mean to do that. Move that over, so maybe that's a little easier for you guys to see, and then I can shift this way slightly. Okay, I want to put this on screen because our first game back is against Liverpool. Okay, first game back is against Liverpool. So let's remember the importance of that. Liverpool are 6th. We happen to be second. We know that we're competing for this league title. Every win counts. Liverpool are 6th. If they want to make any serious moves with regards to continuing to pursue Jude Bellingham, any other signings, they're going to want to be in this top 4. So they're going to be putting in a mad push, mad fight to get top 4. Okay. If they win their next game, which is against us, I'm saying we're winning, but they win their next game, that gives them 47. So they're now tied with Newcastle. Oh, sorry. What am I saying? That gives them 45. So they're going to be still behind Newcastle, but in striking distance. Okay. We win our next game. We're playing Liverpool. That takes us within 8 points of Arsenal. We're still going to be a game behind because I think our game behind is against West Ham, if I'm correct. But
yeah, not played till May.
Yeah,
we don't play our catch-up games till May,
which is kind of crazy with the congestion. But I want to throw out the importance of this game, City fans. This international break's almost over. Okay, I know the Trouble Fathers in the mix. We got Gunn and Lauren. We got Clinical. Don't take this the wrong way. All of us believe and want our club to win, and believe that our club can win any match that's put in front of them. We know the quality, manager, players, the fan base cheering them on. We're not going to have our sights set on anything in the distance. We're having our sights set on Liverpool. Expect some great content coming out of Pitch Points, coming out of True City Fan, coming out of Mancunian Way with regards to this Liverpool preview match. Okay? Whether you're going to see me in the comments, see me hopefully feature on these channels, we're going to be talking about this Liverpool matchup. It is going to be huge. This Liverpool game is going to be huge. It's in our house. If I'm going to be honest with you, terrible, poor mistake with regards to Cancelo cost us a point in that game, and also a very questionable, I don't agree with with the call that said too much force or physicality against Fabinho that called off a goal with
and the handball.
Yeah, and the handball. Different results. So we owe them. Okay. It's going to be a crucial game. April 1st is when it goes down. We need that win. We need every one of you, City fans. We need you. We need that energy, because after that game, and I'm going to put the fixtures on the list. Okay, let me put this on the list. That's how we're going to close up the show. After that game, we then have many days rest. We have a full week's rest before we play Southampton. Another important game. Okay, I know I'm getting ahead of myself, but this actually happens before the next CIA episode, right? So we got Liverpool on the 8th. We've got Southampton, and 3 days later, we play Champions League at home against Bayern Munich. And we've all heard about Thomas Tuchel, now the manager over at Bayern, All important, but let's keep in track. We play on the 1st, we play on the 8th, and then we play on the 11th. Now, just so you have this in mind, maybe this will calm down some of you City fans that are stressing a little bit. You shouldn't, but maybe this will calm you down. Bayern Munich will have to play on the 1st, the same way we do. We have a big match against Liverpool. They have a big match against Dortmund, because Bayern are not leading. They're not leading in the standings. Okay, I just brought that up. They're 1 point behind Dortmund. Okay, a lot and again, let me throw this. Let me throw this to the panel. You guys chime in. But I think that Nagelsmann, and funny enough, you hear many rivals talk about every club wants to win the Champions League. That's what it's all about. That's the most important thing. Nagelsmann was comfortable in Champions League, dealt with his group that had PSG in it. I think conceded the least amount of goals in Champions League. We were next up in that. And the only quite blemish is that when you think of Bayern, you think of them top of the Bundesliga. So I would almost argue that Nagelsmann got fired because of his poor league standing, not Champions League, but domestic league standing. He got let go because the lack of confidence with regards to him securing this league, which I think they've done 10 out of the last 11 years, or maybe it was 10 consecutive years. It was something crazy like that. So I say all that because, let me go back. Oh, how do I do that? Okay. So I say all that because Bayern plays on the 1st. They then play 3 days later in their, domestic cup on the 4th against Freiburg. And then,
and sorry, that's a very, very hard game.
Yes,
Freiburg game is a very difficult game.
Thank you for bringing that up, Gundo, because Freiburg are actually 4th in the league,
and they are no pushovers. I can tell you that for sure.
Yeah,
they are a very difficult game.
There's going to be a lot of fight having in there. So, and again, if there's anyone that follows the German league, Bundesliga, that happen to know, but this is what is on the screen, and I believe it to be true. So they play Dortmund on the 1st, they play Freiburg on the 4th, and then 4 days later they play Freiburg again away. So they're going to be playing that same team twice, which is going to be very intense, very important. Okay, 1st, 4th, 8th, and then they play again on the 11th. They play us on the 11th. That is going to be film study. That's going to be, let's see what can Tuchel implement, because again, he can't mess around and joke against Dortmund. He can't mess around and disguise what he's looking to do against Freiburg because he plays them twice. And is he going to have a completely different attack plan, defensive plan that he's going to try to apply against Manchester City in the Champions League? Great study footage moving forward. Anyone like Gundalorian, a man studies it, is what the gravitational pull that brought me to his channel in Pitch Points was because of his analytical point of view and the coaching mind that he has. These 3 matches are going to be huge with regards to any type of scouting or understanding with regards to what Tuchel is probably going to look to do with Bayern. But City fans, let's all be calm. Yes, we got important matches. They do as well, and they're going to be playing with 3 days rest in that match before playing us. But they're traveling to us, so let's keep that in mind. It's going to be an intense but amazing time. April 1st is going to be some great.
So great football. Go back to the previous slide you just showed.
The Bundesliga.
Right here. So they play Freiburg in the quarterfinal on April. What was that?
April 4th.
So that's in a cup. Yeah.
Yes.
The DFB Pokal Cup. That's 2:45 p.m. Eastern time, I believe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is all my time. Yeah.
And then on that Saturday, they have to go away to Freiburg and play them in the league.
Yeah.
And then they have to come to the Etihad.
And yes, and then they travel to us at the Etihad 3 days later to play us.
Interesting.
So, yes.
So one is a cup game and the other is a league game.
Yeah, 2 league games and 1 cup game. But obviously Dortmund, that's to fight for number 1. And then Freiburg, who are fighting to improve their 4th position in the league, which is going to be an important fight because Bayern can't afford to drop points either because they want to continue to put pressure on Dortmund. It is going to, and Dortmund only have to focus on their domestic league because they're out of the Champions League with the result against Chelsea. So it is, and Demise Mob, I see you. It is interesting times, very interesting times. And you're going to be here for it. I appreciate that. City fans as well. We know we're going to have this conversation moving forward. I just want to throw that out there because there's still going to be more to be broken down, not necessarily on my channel. Mancunian Way, Pitch Points, True City Fan. This is where it all happens. I know I did a lot of talking today. It's international break. Isn't quite the proper flow, but we'll get back into it once the league kicks back in, because what we do on CE, Intelligent Agendas, is we review the previous week, we preview the upcoming week, we make sure to look at the standings, and we deal with the least threatening first as we work our way to the most threatening with regards to those threats against Manchester City. I hope you guys enjoyed the content today. I love you all within the comments, and I know I didn't get to all of them, but I do read them, and I appreciate you guys interacting with me. From the Moz Mob to Michael, and Michael's always, man, brilliant to always remind me to remind you guys, please subscribe if you haven't already, hit that like button, and share this amongst any of your group chats. It makes a huge difference. And again, I have everyone on the panel, whether it's their socials or their own YouTube channels, their details are in my description. So if you subscribe to me, it only takes a second to subscribe to them as well, because we are guest features on their channels as well. You enjoy what we have to say. You enjoy our points of view. You're going to get that there as well. So please make it a point. Daniel, thank you, my guy. He goes, great stream. Demise Mob goes, respect. I appreciate that, my guy. George in the building, great show. Glad I found it. Thank you, and thanks for subscribing. FIFA, as always, he goes 7-0 versus Liverpool, 7-0 versus Bayern. You know what? From your lips to God's ears, let's make that happen. Cap in the building, quality stream like always. Till next time, appreciate it. Blue Heart, cheers, Beater, and all the guys in the studio. Yes, Conway. Big up. Conway goes, great show today. Emmanuel, great show, my guys. Thank you so much. Martin, I'll let you shout out what you got going on.
Yeah, I've had to split a show because we were going to have a journalist come on, but I've had to split it. Tomorrow night we're doing a show from 9 about the agendas against Manchester City from a fan's point of view. And then, because we were going to have a journalist on, but sadly, because of the international breaks, they're abroad and all over the shop. So we're going to have to do it in 2 parts. One from the fan perspective, one from the media perspective. Lots of facts. And I'm going to pull up all sorts of things that has been said. Trust me, I've researched. And yeah, all welcome. Starts at 9 o'clock tomorrow. And we'll have a good discussion about it.
Fair enough. I missed this comment from Danny, who goes, the funniest fan base are Arsenal fans who talk about things oil can't buy, but their biggest sponsor is Emirates. And Kroenke owns crazy acres of land, which provide oil wells. And hey, again, no one says that agendas need to be accurate unless you're a City fan. Intelligent agendas. And in all fairness, this combo and this interaction with what we had tonight spanned many different topics. Portion of it will always tie back to us as a club, but obviously we have to talk about our rivals, and we'll continue to do it. I want to thank Gundo. Gundo, anything you want to shout out with regards to Liverpool?
No, just looking forward to the week. It's nice and warm over here in the East Coast.
Lucky.
We're running
Haven't hit here yet.
We're running at 22 degrees centigrade, which is about 70 degrees Fahrenheit.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, down here. So
it's only like 5 degrees over here.
Yeah, it's really nice over here, and looking forward to the rest of the season. And nice. Shout out to Martin.
Shout out to Martin. Shout out to Clinical. Clinical, anything you want to say before we shut down, man?
Yeah, no, big up to all the guys on the panel and all the guys in the chat. I was actually planning to run an hour-long stream on Tuesday and Thursday, as well as my usual on Saturday, 1 hour before the game.
Okay.
So what I just play FIFA, really just relaxing. It's not the profound content that you guys do, but I prefer to run a little bit more relaxed, more jovial stream.
What
And
platform? What platform are you playing on?
on YouTube, I play on YouTube. I
No,
play
what system? Sorry, what system? What gaming
the
system?
PS4, FIFA 23. So
Okay.
any of you guys want to play me in a game, I can stream that up and we can get something going. That's no problem with me. But
And go ahead. Go ahead.
But usually what I do for my usual stream is an hour before the game when the lineup comes out, I use that team and I play seasons with against all the other guys online. So
Okay.
if anyone ever wants to join me on some of those streams, feel free.
All right. All right. I'm not mad at that. I'm not mad at that. So Clinical, with regards to YouTube channel, I think I need to add that into the description, but I do have his social. I do have his socials in there. So I'm gonna add his YouTube. Like he said, pre-game, he'll play with the team that's being faced, and he scouts them out by using them digitally within the game, and he does seasons. So check him out there. And
Sorry, I'm just laughing at the minute here.
What? Why? Why are you laughing?
Liverpool fans are going off on one because Jude Bellingham's had a photograph with Jordan Henderson. So the Neil's back on Liverpool. Yeah.
Oh, Martin, man. Martin, okay.
You better find some bleeding money.
They will find money. They're going to be selling some players. Their club's been planning for Jude for 3 years. They're not out of the mix yet. And this photograph with Jordan Henderson does speak volumes. It does speak volumes. And I think, you know what? Steven Gerrard interviewed him recently. So maybe he's been whispered in his ear, like, go to Liverpool. We don't know, but this isn't decided yet. This isn't decided yet. Again, thank you all in the comments. Make sure you check out their channels as well. If you haven't hit that like button, do that. And I'm Vader Games. This is Vader Games TV. This show, episode 5 of CIA, Se Intelligent Agendas. The T silent, not Cite, Se Intelligent Agendas. I want to respect and thank you all for being a part of the show. Gundo, Trebel Father, and Clinical, thanks for being on the show.
There we go.
Thanks for being on the show. I'm going to catch you guys.
Yeah.
Cheers.